Each succulent you grow should help you improve your succulent growing skills. I've got skills, they're multiplying, and the power they're supplying, it's electrifying. So this is one of those succulents that for me has really helped me hone in and develop my skills. This is a Graptosedum superbum, and it is one that early on in my succulent journey, I had a really hard time keeping alive. It's one that does not like a lot of water, but it still needs enough, otherwise it'll lose a bunch of leaves. So I've had this for almost 2 years now, and it has been such a great experiment in learning how to really recognize the signs that this succulent is giving me. And thankfully, it's one that's good at giving those signs. So you can see it has very plump, firm leaves right now. It does not need to be watered for quite some time. So when I pulled up the Succulent Tracker app before the video, I found out it's been watered on average every 19 days. And part of that is because I've watered it a little bit more frequently just in the last few weeks so that I could get these leaves really plumped up. I had been out of town off and on for a couple months, and so it had gone like once a month with watering. But it's really plumped up now, so it'll probably go another 3 weeks before I water it again. Now, this succulent has been a success for me. It's one that I really wanted. It's the one that I want. But I have another one that I bought that has not had such a great track record. This is Echeveria Ruffled Red. And I bought this one as an experiment to see if I could keep an Echeveria alive in the intense summer heat outside. And because it is one that needed a lot of sun, I figured it would do well out there. And I did make sure that it was in an area that was getting shaded in the afternoon. But as you can see, it's not the prettiest thing ever. It's had some struggles. Now, this is one that I had really wanted, but it's also one that I knew could be a bit of a challenge. So this is my encouragement to you is go find a succulent you want, buy the one that you want, and treat it as an experiment. Don't get too hung up on the fact that it's got to survive, it's got to look its very best for eternity, but use it as a way to learn something new and to multiply your skills. So with this one, I've learned that I can have a succulent, an Echeveria, that tolerates a lot of heat and sun in the summer months. But an Echeveria is not going to look that good at the end of it. So this one definitely struggled. It was tricky to find the balance between too much water and not enough water, too much light and not enough light. And so, as you can see here, it's just kind of a mess at the moment. But I've decided now I'm going to pull it inside. I'm going to put it under grow lights and help it get back to that really intense red color that it also has these amazing kind of bumps on it that give it a really cool texture. So it's not totally dead, but I feel like it's been a success and it has helped me learn more about succulent care. Now, there's one more that I've really wanted for a long time, and that is this Sedum dasyphilum minor. You can see it has this really purpley pink color. There's a little bit of green in there and just these itty bitty little leaves. Now, this is one that I've actually tried a couple of times and I've learned two things. One, it likes a lot of light. So if it's indoors, which mine is, it needs to be under a grow light. And the second thing is it needs a lot of water. Now, a lot, not like a houseplant, but a lot for most succulents. So one of the reasons why it has not survived for me is because I tend to go long periods of time, like 2 to 3 weeks, without watering my succulents, and this one has not appreciated that. So as I approached it this time around, I did two things differently. One, I got a slightly bigger, clumpier version than I had in the past. Some that I got in the past were like a little 2-inch pot, and there wasn't a lot in there. Smaller plants are harder to care for, or at least they need more attention, and they're more susceptible to problems if you're not consistent with them. So I got this one in a 3 or 4-inch pot. I really squished it in there so it's nice and tight, and I put it in a slightly more organic soil. So I filled the bottom part of this with bonsai jack soil, and then I put a layer of coconut coir on top to allow it to get a little bit more water for those roots to stay wet a little bit longer so that it can tolerate less frequent watering. Now, I'm also still paying attention to it and I'm watering it slightly more frequently than my other succulents. And I'm trying to pay really close attention to what it looks like when it needs a lot, or when it needs more water, or when it needs less water. The superbum is pretty easy for that. Those leaves are big and really juicy, and so they will turn a little bit limp when they need more water. these leaves are so itty bitty and they're not especially plump in the first place or firm. So it's really hard to tell if it needs water. And by the time it's very shriveled up and underwatered, it's almost too late to help it recover. So this is one that I'm using right now to really help me, again, hone in my identification skills in terms of identifying when these need to be watered. And it's also helping me practice water a little bit more consistently. My encouragement to you is to find a succulent you want. Get that succulent that's been on your wish list for a little while, even if you think it's a little bit more difficult to care for or you're worried that you might not know how to keep it alive. Go ahead and get it. That's part of why we grow succulents, is to try new things, to just enjoy how beautiful they are. And even if it only lasts a month or two, it still can bring you joy in that period of time. And then you can learn something and try again later. I love having these in the Succulent Tracker app because it allows me to remember when I've watered. It'll show me the average number of days that I've watered, and I can actually add a photo history. So a really great way to notice the changes in your succulents is by taking a picture very consistently. If you can take a picture of your succulent once a week and notice those small changes over time, you will get so much better at recognizing those subtle changes. And the Succulent Tracker makes that super easy because you can see those photos side by side and notice the changes over time. So go get the one that you want, go get your succulent, add it to the Succulent Tracker app, and start recording all the things that you're doing with it. Add notes of things that you notice with it over time and really help multiply your succulent growing skills.